Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. So, guess who won the subscriber choice contest? Well, you're looking at her. And just a quick thing on the scoreboard. First was the Mule. It got 20 votes. Second was a tie, believe it or not. And the tie was between the Electric E-Z-Go and the 300EX. The interesting thing about the E-Z-Go and the Yamaha, two people said don't go near golf carts. I hate golf carts. So, I mean, I think that's interesting. Yeah, so the Mule got 20 votes. And the E-Z-Go got 10 with 2 don'ts, so I subtracted 2 from the E-Z-Go. Then the 300EX or the 250EX, more or less the same project. They both need the same stuff. They got 8, and the Yamaha golf cart, that guy, got 2. But if you subtract the 2 from don't do golf carts, it got 0. The poor golf carts. So this thing is next, and we already talked about where it came from. It came from an auction. It was crashed, on and on. So we already talked about that. Now, what are my plans for it? Let's go through that, and then we'll start going forward. So obviously it had a water-cooled 2-cylinder motor in it. And it now has this pull start Predator 6.5 horsepower. Though the engine's fine. Well, the engine's hydro locked, and we'll fix that before we take it out, right? But it's a pain in the neck because I have to, you know, kind of crawl underneath there to start it and set the choke and turn the gas on and off and all that kind of stuff. So I have a nice electric start. What is it? Duralast engine. It's this is a 6.5. It's a 7. So we're going to put that engine in there. So it's going to get an engine upgrade. When it comes to brakes, the golf cart rear end has cable brakes. So that's what's going on there. This wheel doesn't have any of the brake assembly because they sold it separately on eBay and I didn't buy it. And this guy has hydraulic brakes. That pedal is hydraulic brakes. And then I got the hand lever there for cable brakes. So I got quite the menagerie when it comes to braking. I'm thinking off the top of my head, when it comes to mix and match and all that kind of stuff, I was thinking about seeing if I can't get the hydraulic brakes working and rigging it up, cobbing it up, so that I have one front wheel worth of hydraulic brakes. Those of you who go, that's crazy, you're going to crash the thing. Top speed is 12 miles per hour for this thing, somewhere around 10 or 12. So I'm not thinking that that's going to, you know, put me so far off balance that I'm going to get into trouble. I also have to do something with the front bumper here because it seems like whenever I tap something, I'm making this whole thing worse, so I got to fix that. So anyway, I'm thinking once again for this side, getting the hydraulic brakes working and then setting up that hand thing lever. I think that's got a cable to it. I'd like to see if I can't make the back brakes work. My biggest problem with this thing, the biggest problem is this is heavy. This is, even without all the extra engine and everything else, this is, you know, a good 400-pound UTV, give or take a little bit, maybe more, call it 500 if there's a couple of things sitting in it. So I really need reverse. To put it in reverse, I have a It's called a rear axle, but it's actually a transaxle. There's a little thing on it that if you reverse forward, if you leave it in the middle, it's neutral. So and I think my plan is to put a spring on it so it's held in forward, because whenever you start this thing you really want to be in a gear, otherwise the torque converter idles it along, and if you go from neutral into a gear, that idling along of the torque converter kind of crunches things, and I'd rather not blow up the transaxle. Transaxles, I mean, on eBay are hundreds of dollars plus shipping, and that means I gotta try to track down another whole golf cart and part it out to get a transaxle. So I just as soon keep this transaxle alive for as long as it'll live. So anyway, I'm thinking of having it held in forward, and then again spring tension. I don't know, some grip or pedal or something to turn it up against that, so that you're in reverse, and once again you let it go and it goes back into forward. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Obviously the electric start with the key up on the dashboard. Look at that, it even has a key in the ignition. Yeah, the ignition feels pretty played though. So that's probably be the first thing I do with it. You guys will see some other projects, as you know, I'm focusing on this one, but there's a couple of other things I got to keep moving along. But I guess my commitment is to keep doing something on this thing until it more or less gets completed. Right now it's it's in quite a mess. Anyhow, so we're going to start out by unhydrolocking the engine, and simple enough to do. We'll give the carburetor a quick a little quick I'll show you some tricks on the carburetor, so that it doesn't have to come off to fix the whole thing. And then we'll get the engine running, we'll get reverse, and then we'll take the engine off of this, switch to an electric engine. So that's where the big plans are for this guy. So thanks to everyone who voted. I really appreciate all the feedback. Once again, the 4 million views, the comments, the advice, the thoughts. There's going to be like kind of a lot of fab here. You know, a lot of what do I do now? So feel free to throw suggestions. I'll read them, and a lot of times I'll read 20 suggestions and end up using a little piece of 10 of them, because there are a lot of good ideas out there. You guys might not believe it, but my wife tells me I don't know everything, so you guys might want to believe her on that. Okay, once again, I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please, feet down, heads up, get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.